improving. I thought we got better this spring. Still have a long way to go, but definite improvement, yeah, especially in our run game. We worked really hard at that this spring, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Obviously, everyone interested in the QB battle. How's that going?
It's going well, and it's only 15 practices, and we'll get another, about double that in fall camp. So it's still, working our way through it. But I thought both those guys did a lot of good things this spring.
What are their strengths that you like most, and how unique are they from each other?
They're actually more similar than they are different. Yeah, they're both athletic. They both can make the throws that we need them to make in this offense, and they're both really smart. Of course, Gary has a little more experience overall. Jake has the advantage of knowing our offense a little better than Gary does. So it's been a really, really good battle.
Is the battle going to go into fall, or are you going to aim to?
Yeah, it'll go into fall.
What do you want them to work on during the summer before fall camp?
Well, in Gary's case, it's just getting more comfortable with the language of our offense, where he doesn't get to the point where you don't have to think about what the words mean. You can just go play, And then in Jake's case, it's just continuing to take great care of the ball. Jake had 0 interceptions the whole spring. I think that's the first time I've ever had a quarterback go 15 practices without throwing an interception. So we've been not talking about it. It's like having a no-hitter, and he made it through practice 15 today without a pick. So
wow.
that was a big deal, because last year he had some critical turnovers, and so the goal of spring was to eliminate those, and he did a good job of that.
You talk about the run game, one, you have improvement there.
Yeah.
What is the biggest improvement you've seen? Is the O-line, running backs? What caused you to think they had improvement?
All areas. I mean, the run game is, I keep saying this, the run game is an 11-man deal every play. So we've improved at O-line, and our tight ends are playing really well. And then, it's also quarterbacks getting us into the right play, because a lot of our run plays are checks. So there's a lot to it, but I think we've improved in all those areas.
What will be the number one criteria for picking the starting quarterback?
Just the guy that takes best care of the ball and moves the team the best. So those two things combined. You can take care of the ball if you're really conservative and don't ever do anything with it. So we want to, that balance of being able to still be aggressive and move the team, but also take care of the football.
In those, you noted that Retzlaff had no interceptions in those passes. How much of that work was deep passes downfield?
That was a lot. We ran our offense. We throw the ball down the field in this offense, and so we were not being conservative or anything like that. We were just playing football.
How important was the physicality here in the spring? We talked about it a number of times, but how beneficial was it to go live and push those guys that way?
Well, it's important, because I don't know any other way to get better at running the ball other than to just go out and hit and be aggressive and work at it. And so that's what we did. And we did a little bit more of that than usual, but I thought it was necessary. And again, we're not there yet, but we're going in the right direction, I believe.
Will you consider adding another quarterback in the transfer portal post-spring?
No.
Kalani talked about you guys being banged up in the spring, just bumps and bruises. You suffered any long-term injuries to your knowledge on the offense?
I don't think anyone that's going to miss the season or anything like that. Yeah, we have a few guys banged up, but I don't think so.
Are there positions that you feel you need out of the transfer portal, or right now coming out of spring?
Well, we're a little bit low at O-line right now, just numbers-wise. I mean, we like the guys we have. We're just down a couple numbers. So if we can find an O-lineman or two, we will.
Are you still happy with your group of running backs?
I like our running backs, and we're probably. I don't see us. We're not actively looking for any running backs or receivers or anything like that. You never say never. You never turn away a great player if somebody wants to be here. I think at any position, but our need right now is just 1 or 2 O-linemen.
The experience level you have in the receiving core, if all those guys are healthy, how dangerous can this core be?
I think it's going to be a solid group. All those guys had their moments last year, and then they also all kind of had their moments of first year in the Big 12, a couple of those guys first year in our offense, and some ups and downs. I think this year you're going to see the experience of taking some lumps last year. I expect that to pay off this year for those guys, and I have a lot of belief in that group.
Is the Keanu Hill experiment at tight end work?
Absolutely. He's a tight end. He's doing a really good job. And it's been great, because he doesn't have to battle his weight to stay light enough to play receiver. He's 240, 245, easy, and he's a mismatch as a route runner at tight end, and he's a good blocker.
We release a depth chart to your players to kind of let them know where they stand heading into post-spring.
Sure, yeah, we have exit interviews with all of our players in the next week or two. We'll let every guy in this team know exactly where they stand.
And do you have a clear sense of what the starters already look like for your group for the fall?
Not exactly, no. I mean, there's, you've got a good idea who's battling for playing time, but most of those things will go into fall camp.
LJ Martin was pretty impressive as a freshman. Where does he need to take that next step?
Just same thing. Like, he had his moments last year too, where he looked really great, and then there's things where he's a rookie and it's the first time this happened or the first time that happened. I think next year you're going to see the experience show where he's going to play faster, he's going to make fewer mistakes, and he's going to be even more of an every down player.
Hey, Rod, how are you going to evolve as a play caller offensively, going into the second year? Do you change much, or is it just about executing, kind of the schemes that you have in place?
I think you always want a little bit of change, but if you're completely revamping all the time, you're probably not going to be good at anything. So I think every year, we're trying to keep the majority of our offense intact, but have enough change and enough evolution that we're featuring our best players and that we're also staying hard to defend.
After an entire spring ball, early returns on T.J. Woods and Gilbride is in their position groups, how they've led those positions.
They're both outstanding coaches, and we're really glad they're here. Very good.
Does not having a spring game as a coordinator set you back at all?
No, in fact, I actually prefer not to have a spring game because, first of all, in a spring game, you don't want to show anything, to your opponents. And today, we did a whole bunch of stuff today that was like first time we've ever tried it stuff, which was fun, and you can't do that in the spring game. And then secondly, in the spring game, you're so worried about getting anybody injured that you usually hold out guys. And today, everybody practiced, pretty much everyone. And so, yeah, the spring game it's fun for the fans, but for me, sometimes it feels like kind of a wasted practice. So we got one more practice.
Are there summer newcomers that you're expecting that you feel could contribute to this team, like maybe a Cody Hagan, Noah Moiaki was out here?
Yeah, there's some good players that are going to be joining us, and you never really know who's going to emerge, but there are definitely some guys that will be joining us that have the ability to help us in the fall if they can get caught up with the knowledge of the offense.
What are your priorities in the next few months? What needs to happen?
Well, we'll start recruiting soon too. That never ends. But just continue. We got to continue to have a great summer now. Like spring and summer development is going to be key. Like a lot of our young players and a few of our new guys to just keep developing their skill set and also developing in their knowledge of what we're doing.
And last one for Coach, guys.
I guess last thing from us, how would you evaluate your offense based on this time last year versus what you're seeing this spring?
Well, I think we're ahead of where we were last year. Last year we lost so many of those offensive linemen. It was a whole new group, and I was I thought last year we were, I guess, farther ahead than I thought as far as our development of that group. And this year, so I'm a little bit reluctant to say for sure, but I think we're on the right track. I feel like our defense has improved, and we're doing a lot of good things against those guys. So I think we're heading in the right direction, but we know how tough our schedule is, so we're going to stay humble and keep working.